Welcome to Mecum's Gone Farmin' Vintage Tractor Auction, featuring the only classic tractor auction of its kind in the country. Today, some of the hardest to find tractors in the world will hit the auction block. So sit back and relax and enjoy Mecum's Gone Farmin' Vintage Tractor Auction.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Mecum's Gone Farmin' Classic Tractor Auction right here from Walworth, Wisconsin. It is an exciting weekend of auctions, and Max, I think everyone is looking forward to this one.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff to look forward to. 300 tractors here this weekend. Going to be a lot of fun.
Well folks, there's plenty of action coming up. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this. We're going to get started in here right away with this tractor, and this first one right on the block, Max. This is a special tractor. Tell our viewers why.
Yeah, this here we've got a 1958 John Deere 530, so first year production and low production number on this one. It's actually the 48th 530 built. This was in very nice original condition. It has been repainted. New front tires, runs good, good tin, and also has a new water pump on it. But anytime we're talking tractors, I mean low production or really late production makes a big difference, just as production numbers also make a big difference. So, and of course this one here looks pretty much as straight and nice as it probably did coming out of the factory. So. And these 530s always bring a pretty good amount of money. We're at $5,000 bid right now, so. Actually, we're at $4,200 on this right now. $4,600 bid, and of course the 530, that was the last generation of the B John Deeres as far as the two-cylinder production went.
And it's starting to make its way out, but the bidding is still going as he hits about $4,800.
And I believe the auctioneer, Matt, just announced that the reserve has just come off of that tractor, so $4,700.
That one brings $4,700 as we brings up our next tractor. It's a 1955 John Deere 60.
Yeah, and of course this is a John Deere 60 standard, low seat standard. They made these in two different variations. They had the low seat and the high seat. The 60 standard, of course, looks more like the AR did. And of course the Model AR was the A standard. This one also has the Hobbs hour meter there on the back of the dash, which was a John Deere approved deal. The 60 standards, you can usually tell them because of the seat back. It actually has that little teardrop that comes down and fastens to the battery, or the top of the battery box, or the seat frame. And then the fenders were a little bit bigger than they were on the AR. These usually sell pretty well. They're a unique little tractor. I've driven an AR, and it's kind of neat. You sit down in that cockpit like that, and you're really well protected and in away from the dust.
Now, what's the advantage of sitting that much lower? Because I would think it would be a little more difficult to see and make sure you're not running over anything.
A lot of these standard tractors were used out west where you were out in big open country. You weren't worried about running into anything. And this is also what they based the AO tractor, or the 60 Orchard tractor, off of. So it was nice and low slung to get in underneath them tree branches. So.
And one of the features that comes from tractors from time to time, you see the big fenders where it's going to give a little bit more protection as he sits a little bit lower in that one.
Yeah. And of course, $7,200 on this tractor right now.
Still going, and still some interest sitting as he's trying to get about $7,700.
Yeah, this tractor here has been professionally restored with new tires, new paint. Very nice looking tractor. I always like these. This is kind of reminiscent of the Model R that was made a little bit earlier, and they kind of took that same styling from the Model R and put it into the ARs when they were styled.
And it moves out for $8,000, and bringing up next on the lot is 1959 John Deere 730 diesel.
Yeah, of course, once again, another standard tractor. And if you remember what I said about that 60, it was a low seat. They went to a version like this where you set up a little bit higher, and they called that the 60 high seat. And of course, this here, 730 diesel standard, pony start. It's got the little V4 cranking engine on it. Another one, just a beautiful restoration on this tractor. No 3-point on this tractor, but does have hydraulics out the back. This is a rock shaft delete tractor, so it doesn't even have the arms for the 3-point. But if you look at that shot there, I mean, that's just a classic, iconic look at a John Deere there. That yellow on the side of the hoods, and the 730s have always been a real hot tractor.
And that's going to move out. And this one's actually going north of 10,000. Making sure he's got the gavel in the air, just about to. And that one, I believe the bid is going to still go on that one. And folks, now's a great time to take a break in the action and check in with Kevin. Kevin, what do you have for us?
We're here with Ben and Alex. Ben, what are you out here looking for today?
Any John Deere 2-cylinders, really.
So you like the old school John Deeres?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So tell me about your collection. What have you got at home?
Between me and my dad, we have a 70 diesel, 2 720s, a 430, a 420, and a 50.
You got a pretty diverse array there.
Yeah,
at least
all over the place.
Well, thanks very much for helping us out, and enjoy the show, and good luck.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
And brings us up to a 1948 Alice Chalmers C.
Yeah, and of course the little Alice Chalmers C was kind of the baby to line up. I believe the Alice Chalmers B was a little bit smaller. These here have narrow front. A very fun little tractor for a high school kid to start out with and restore. Of course, this one here looks like the work's done already. But they are a fun little tractor for tractor drives, or even put a little Woods belly mount mower on it. Use it for mowing your little farmette, or your use it for clipping your pastures.
And of course, our camera crew bringing you great shots of these. Just kind of as it gives you a look at the front grille of these Alice Chalmers tractors.
Yeah, and this selling at no reserves, so it's going to go to a new home.
I haven't seen as many of these types of tractors out on this particular lot at this show as much as we did, like, for example, back in Nashville. But these always seem to gather some interest. There seems to be a very specific collectors group for these types of tractors.
Yeah, the Alice Chalmers, I mean, there's a following for them out there. They are fun, like I said, they're a fun little tractor to start with. And of course, Alice Chalmers right out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, just a little ways up the road here from where we are in Walworth. So.
And we're trying to get $1,500 for that one, and right behind it is another Alice Chalmers. This is a 1950 RC.
Yeah, and of course this one here is this was a little bit smaller than a WC. I think pretty much it's the same engine as we had in that little one that just went through that Alice Chalmers C, but this is just in a bigger row crop version. And you notice it sits out a little bit wider, and the axle's a little bit higher. It was really made for cultivating and being your small tractor. This one here also is a real early production number with a serial number of 106. Now, I'm not sure if Alice Chalmers started at 100 or 101 or where they actually started, but to have one that's within the first couple hundred built, it's always a desirable tractor. And of course, this one here, great paint. Looks like it's got newer tires on it. And these little Alices, they just sound nice. They've got a nice little chirp to them when they're running.
This one, of course, restored to that original burnt orange look. Just a great looking tractor.
Yep. Yeah, and of course the Alice Chalmers term for it was Persian orange.
And it rolls out for $1,500, bringing us up to our next one. This is another Alice Chalmers. It's being pulled in, not sure it ran out of gas or if it might be a battery issue. Brings us up to a 1938 Alice Chalmers B. This is the one you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, and of course, if you see this kind of has that, the front end, the wide fronts on these look really light, but they have held up for a lot of years. I mean, this is a 1938, and the wide front's still underneath it. I always thought they looked really light, but Alice Chalmers B will always have a wide front on it, as far as I've known. I may be wrong, but every one of them I've ever seen has a wide front. And of course, this was set up more for cultivating one row, maybe doing some truck gardening or some vegetable gardening and stuff like that. So.
And we're giving our viewers just a sound of what some of the best auctioneers in the world sound like. They really don't miss a beat at all. Certainly add to the excitement here in Walworth, Wisconsin, where we're gathered for Mecum's Gone Farmin' Classic Tractor Auction. Trying to get $1,300 for that last one that's rolling out. Still working it out. And I believe he's going to peak out at about $1,300. And $1,300 buys it. And Max, as that one rolls out, we're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. There's plenty of Mecum's Gone Farmin' Wisconsin coming up right after this. Well, folks, you're tuned in to Mecum's Gone Farmin' right here from Walworth, Wisconsin. Max, it has been a fantastic show so far.
Yeah, we've just had some really great action here between the buyers and the sellers.
And with that, I see that our next tractor is rolling in and making its way up to the auction block, so let's waste no time and get back to the action. I really like this tractor, Max. Coming in, obviously, toting a trailer as well. It comes with both together.
Yeah, they're selling this as one lot with the tractor and the trailer. Of course, you can see he's got little benches made up in there, so perfect for if you wanted to go on the little town parade or whatever, run down Main Street. You had room to put your family on the back, maybe throw some candy out to the spectators. And of course, the Farmall H, I mean, that's just an iconic tractor for International Harvester, just like a John Deere A or B is for John Deere. Farmall H or M is just the go-to tractor for a Farmall collector. I mean, they made a lot of them. Good entry-level tractors, good ones for people to start out with doing the restoration work on and just have some fun. Parts are plentiful for them. This one here looks like it's got new rubber all the way around. Been refurbished and it's in good shape. Of course, these old Farmall H's, you can run them right down to where they only got about 25, 30 pounds of compression and they'll still run. So,
well, right now they're trying to get about $2,500 for the pair of this, which I think would be probably the deal of the day.
Yeah, it's not bad with the trailer thrown in there.
They're already sitting at $2,500, trying to reach $2,700 for both the tractor and the trailer. Kathy's doing her best job as she's got someone on the hook over here on this side in front of our announcer's desk. Bringing up the, and $2,700 it moves out. Bringing us to a Farmall F12 diesel. This is an interesting looking tractor, Max. I saw this one on the lot out front. I know that you know about this one. Tell me a little bit more about it.
Well, of course, the Farmall F12s really in the United States never came with a diesel. A lot of them were overseas, and if you look at the back of this, it's got a special hitch on the back of it that tells me it's a European tractor. Factory brakes, 2 sets per side. Very few F12 diesels were made. This is an original barn find. Everything is 100% German. So, and of course they're rolling that through because it's kind of running on a wing and a prayer, but a very unique tractor to have come through here at Mecum. And I think we're kind of getting into a group of international tractors here that are not from the United States. Of course, a lot of these tractors were shipped overseas and everything else, or built overseas. So
yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. That Farmin F12 certainly hit the block and then seemed to keep on going.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they couldn't stop it or what happened, but I think a lot of the bidders were saying, "Wait a second, I want to get a bid in on this one."
Well, and of course, when you've got an original barn find tractor like that, that's not really been gone through other than made to run, there's always some little problems that crop up as you're running it across the block here. So, and of course, right now it kind of speaks to the scarcity of this tractor. So, $5,000, and the bid's going to go on that tractor.
And bringing us up to a Farmin Old 2. This one's actually being pulled in. And this is another opportunity, I would think, for anyone who wants to restore a tractor. This would be a great opportunity. It's got the racing number 6 on the back of the seat as well. Tell us a little bit about this one, Max.
Yeah, and of course the model DLD2, that was another European tractor. And if you kind of look at it, you look at the hood and the styling on it, it's it kind of looks like a Farmin Cub, almost looks like a Farmin A. It's kind of a hybrid that they were building for the European market. This is also a diesel, and I believe it's a 2-cylinder diesel on these DLD2s. So pretty much what they've got is kind of like a Cub chassis with a little 2-cylinder diesel engine. I believe these were all made over in Germany or France. I believe IH had a factory over there. And diesel caught on a lot quicker over in Europe before it caught over here. Yeah, this has a vertical 2-cylinder diesel. The motor has been rebuilt, so pretty much all it's left to do is go through and do the paint work on this tractor. So.
And as far as fueling these tractors, you pretty much have 3 choices from the beginning of the century. You know, from gasoline to propane to diesel. You know, I think it was just a matter of, sometimes it depended on where you were in the country.
Yeah, and the reserve just came off on that tractor at $3,000, so it is going to go to a new home. Yeah, and of course the real early farm tractors, you had that start on gasoline and then switch over to kerosene or distillate. So. And that's going $3,000 to the telephone bidder. So.
And that brings us next into our Farmin Super FCO utility.
Yeah, and of course this one here a little bit bigger than that DLD that just came through. This has 4 wheel weights on it, made in France. So like I said with the last one, they have a French factory over there, or had. Also has 3-point, and I believe this has a 4-cylinder engine in it. And of course this one would be a little bit later because it's a super. And we've seen a lot of these tractors come across here. It's been kind of interesting over the last few years how many of these international tractors from Europe are making their way back over here and getting into collectors' hands. So.
They seem to be bringing a lot of money for those, whether they're running or not. Some of them are being pulled through. With some of these collectors obviously realizing the value of what they're seeing here today.
Yeah, the interesting part with these tractors that are from France and everything, it's kind of tough to get the parts here in the U.S. for them. So you really got to kind of make friends with someone over there that can order the parts from the IH dealer there and have them shipped over here to you. So kind of that's for the seasoned. For the seasoned tractor restorer, that the challenge of restoring a tractor made in the U.S. is a little bit too easy for them. So. And the reserve has just come off of this tractor, $3,500 bid right now.
And runs out for $3,500, and that brings us up to Lot S11, which is 1940 Farmin F12 green. I'm not exactly sure, Max, why is the color in the model of that one? Why are they specifying the color of green?
What it is of course, this tractor came from East Germany. And once again, if you notice, F12s usually sit up a little bit higher. They were used for row crops. And in the European market, a lot of the farmers, this was their mode of transportation. This was a car to them. So this one here set a little bit lower to the ground. East Germany, they had a choice of green or blue. They could not get a tractor in farm all red, from what I understand. And this also has a European hitch on it, that kind of jaw clevis hitch that I was talking about, that hanging off the back of that first F12 diesel that came through. So you notice this tractor's low slung. It's got a little bit bigger seat with a backrest on it. Just some of the unique stuff they did for the European market.
And they're going to close that one out for the bid to continue on. Well, folks, Mecum's Gone Farmin' is all about tractors, but we have an entire another part of the show that everyone from all over comes to see. It's the vintage signs and collectibles. Let's check in on the action.
Okay, 49.1 is a John Deere single-sided lighted sign, 44 by 48 inches. Right down there, just in front of the Gone Farming neon, you can see auctioneer Matt and seller ambassador Paul Wagner holding that sign up, and it's got the industrial colors, that industrial yellow with the black logo. Of course, you look at that, they must have a few industrial fans in the crowd here, and we're at $2,250 on it. $2,500 bid right now. Being single-sided like that, it looked pretty good sitting in someone's man cave if they were into the industrial John Deere stuff. $2,900 bid right now. Looking for three. $3,000 bid on the sign right now.
Last call, we'll do that. 3,200. Sold it on the telephone.
Now we're going to sell on 3,100 to a telephone bidder.
Now we're starting our feature signs. M50 IH service. I'm giving the double-sided porcelain.
And M50 is an IH service double-sided porcelain sign. Now, like I said earlier, porcelain signs, that kind of dates it back to before they had the enamel paint. And the porcelain paint, of course, just like it says, the porcelain paint would be real fragile. If you hit it wrong, it'd chip. This sign here, if it's the one I'm thinking of hanging up in the rafters, was in very nice original condition. And that one actually measures 48 inches. So. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of with the hanger there. 48-inch round. It's a nice original sign. $2,000 on that IH sign. M51 is a single-sided porcelain John Deere sign, 72 by 24. This one has the black and yellow, black, yellow, and red paint scheme to it. Very nice looking sign here.
And of course, folks out there watching on RFD-TV, we're covering the memorabilia, this collectible sign part of the auction here. You're here with Mike Holland and Max Wilson, the encyclopedia of tractor information is what I like to call Max.
And that one's going to sell at $1,000, and this is the sign I was talking about a little bit earlier. This is actually the sign from the dealership that I currently work for, is now Buck Brothers. This is the sign that was up in front of our dealership for quite a few years. Of course, the two-legged deer, it puts it before 2000. I started there in '95, and I think that sign was still hanging in. I remember the day it came down. Double-sided single-sided tin, 36 by 108, $750 right now on it. It is two-sided. $1,000 right now on the bid, and of course Harvard Implement had been in business for quite a few years, and with the dealerships merging and everything, we ended up becoming Buck Brothers. We're now a 4-store. That was a single-store dealer at that point. And I believe that one sold at $1,000. And that's going to bring up M53 as an IH blue ribbon sign. Single-sided tin, it's 24 by 44 inches. And of course that was their blue ribbon service promotion that they were doing. And I would believe that to be from probably the 50s with that blue ribbon insignia on there. And $22.50 bid right now.
Sold it. $27.50 telephone.
$27.50 to telephone. M54 is a Ferguson system sign, single-sided tin, 60 by 36. And this sign here looks to be in real nice shape. And of course the Ferguson system, you look on there, it looks like a silhouette of a Ford 8N or a real early Ferguson tractor. And what they're talking about with the Ferguson system is the 3-point hitch setup that was designed by Harry Ferguson. $1,100 on that side. It's going to bring up a M55 is a new idea, single-sided tin, 72 by 24 inches.
What do you think a new idea is worth, Max?
Oh, I would say this one here probably going to be right around the 1,200 range, I would think. Looks a little too nice to be original. This may be one of our repops, but of course, New Idea made a lot of hay mowers and rakes and manure spreaders. We always had a New Idea ground-driven manure spreader on the farm when I was growing up. Also, New Idea corn pickers. They were one of the big manufacturers of those. $1,300 on that New Idea sign.
Not bad.
And that'll bring a M56 is a New Idea, double-sided lighted, 81 by 36, and this sign is in a nice wooden crate yet. Probably has never been hung up and displayed. And you see Paul and Matt over there by it. $1,000 bid on that sign there. $2,000 bid, looking for $2,250. $2,250, $2,500 now. $3,000. You're moving right along on this sign here. $4,000. $4,000 that sign sells.
Well, folks, we're going to take a quick break in the action, but don't go anywhere. We're in Walworth, Wisconsin for Mecum's Gone Farmin'. We'll be back right after this. Well, welcome back to Walworth, Wisconsin and Mecum's Gone Farmin'. Folks, as the next tractor makes its way up, let's take a look.
Actually, they're working on the Super 55 Oliver yet, I believe. Yeah, I thought they dropped the hammer on already, but
yeah, I did too. I think we might have one in the middle there, so I'm not sure what's up there.
yeah.
And that one rolls out at $2,000. And as that last tractor moves out, that brings us to a Massey Harris 44 high alt.
And of course, Massey Harris 44s, they made a couple different variations of these engines for operating in high altitude. Of course, the air is a little thinner, so they raised the compression ratio a little bit on them. This one here's got a wide front on it. Looks like it's still in its work clothes, but seem to be rolling in here with the help of a nylon strap, so must need a little bit of attention. And this one is selling at no reserve, Mike, so.
And as always, the no reserve tractors seem to bring a little more attention from some of the buyers out here in this overly full Mecum Gone Farmin Wisconsin crowd. They are packing this one in this 200-foot tent on the north side, certainly, and on the east side as crowds continue to gather, also in front of our announcer's booth here.
And
$2,700 brings that no reserve tractor as it rolls out. And that's going to bring up a 1957 Minneapolis Moline 5-star row crop.
Yeah, and of course this one here also has the propane setup on it, which Minneapolis Moline was very well known for their propane burning engines. Also has the spin-out wheels, 3-point on it, has the high-low transmission in it, PPG paint, so it's a good high-quality paint on there, newer tires, completely restored. So,
Max, I was going to ask you earlier when I was walking the lot, I did see this one. It looks like there's some kind of a, tell me about what that specialty piece is up there right next to the driver. It looks like a GPS system. Of course, that's not what it is, but
no, that up over the fuel tank there is actually the console or the dash. It gives you all the vitals on the tractor. Of course, these usually that hood sloped all the way back, but with the propane tank there, they just kind of moved that dash forward and flipped it up. Now, I have said this before on the air, but you look at this front of this tractor as it was coming in, kind of looks futuristic, kind of that Buck Rogers Starship look to it. Of course, 3,500. That one's going to roll out of here.
And that's going to bring us to a lot S17. Well, actually, I think they're going to go to,
looks like S18.
S18, which is a 1975 Ford 2000 gas tractor.
Yeah, and of course this here, you keep looking at this is just the next progression of that N Series Ford, that little low slung tractor. Looks like the same wheels and tires off of a Ford 8N. Of course, this being in the 70s, this was almost 20 years, or over 20 years after they quit making the N Series. Still had the same steering setup, 8-speed transmission. This tractor here with 142 original hours on it, Mike. It's not been used hardly at all. You figure out the math on that, that's just what? Well less than a couple hours a year, I guess, if I do the math right, or about less than 4 hours a year. Plastic grill model. Of course, there's several different variations of these 1000 series tractors. So.
And as he starts to roll that tractor out,
and this one is also selling at no reserve. So,
and it rolls out for $5,000, bringing us up to a Minneapolis Moline U8 Special LP.
And of course the UBs, they had the regular UB with the narrow front, and they had fuel options. You had gas, diesel, and the propane. Wide front, everything else. This one also has a 3-point setup on the back. And of course the special designation is just another little thing that they changed something around on the engine for older restoration. This tractor's originally from North Dakota, so.
I didn't know they did much farming up in North Dakota.
I guess there's still some open fields up that way. So.
I'm just kidding. Don't send me all the emails. And everyone from North Dakota is going to be piping up. And we, of course, appreciate all our viewers from all the 50 states out there watching us on RFD-TV.
And, of course, at home, I do have a picture of my grandpa running a UB propane cultivating across the road from the home farm. So. Kind of one of those I've always wanted, but I'm not a big fan of the propane tractors, mainly because of that mystery with the fuel regulator and everything. I guess I'm not sharp enough to figure that out. So. And they just announced that is a factory 3-point hitch on it, so.
And they're sitting at about $1,800 right now, trying to bump that up to 19 as some of the Mecum people are working the crowd here. I know Kathy's working this entire section over here. The reserve is off of the tractor.
There's a buy!
And as Kathy tries to bump that up to $2,000, the gentleman said, nope, that's just a little bit more than I wanted to spend. And as that tractor rolls out, it does sell. And with that, Max, we're going to take a quick break, but don't you go anywhere. We'll be back with Mecum's Gone Farmin' right after this. Folks, now's a great time to take a break in the action and check in with Kevin. Kevin, what do you have for us?
Thanks, guys. We're here with Mike. Mike, you're a Ford man.
Yes, I've also got John Deere's and a few others, but I'm basically Ford, yes.
What did you bring with you today?
I brought up 3 John Deere's and 6 Fords.
So you're kind of clearing house.
Yeah, that's the bigger part of it. We got about 5 or 6 left at home, but we may pick up another 1 or 2 to redo.
Is there anything that you've seen here that you think is just something that you'd really like to have in your collection?
Well, that 300 sitting over there, that nice red one, looks pretty good. And there was an old Ford 8N over here with a V8 motor in it. I kind of thought about that a little bit. That's a play toy, but something. They go pretty fast.
Well, thanks very much. Really appreciate it. And good luck at the auction.
Thank you very much.
Back to you guys.
Bringing us to a 1957 John Deere 520.
And the 520, of course, we opened up the auction today with that 530. That was a low serial number. This one here, of course, 520 is just a little bit earlier version. Of course, took the place of the 50, that took the place of the B. This one here has clamshell fenders on it and power steering. Nice looking little tractor. I wouldn't be afraid to take this out and put it to work or take it to the parade. And this one also selling at no reserve. So actually, I've talked to the owner of this tractor and the next 2 coming up. Very nice gentleman. He's actually kind of thinning the herd a little bit to kind of help with some health issues that him and his wife are having. So He's from up by Hillsboro, Wisconsin. He's kind of getting rid of these. He says, I don't use them anymore in my farm operation. He says, it's just time for him to go to another home. He says, they're good running tractors. So.
And holding out at $2,500 so far. And he just moved that up to $2,600. Sitting at $2,700 now. And as you listen to the auctioneer, he's working the crowd, trying to get every cent he can for these sellers, and sells that tractor for $3,000. Bringing us up to a 1957 John Deere 620.
And once again, from the same guy that had the previous tractor, the 520. This one here, no reserve. Good tires on the rear. Has the rock shaft on it, single remote. It has a pre-cleaner on it, nice looking tractor. Another one wouldn't be afraid to take it and use it in the field or go parade it. So.
And they started the bidding off at $2,000. I'm sure that's going to be changing quickly. This tractor is set at no reserve, as Max just said. That means it will find a new home today. The seller has come realizing that he wanted to find a new home for these, and that's exactly what's going to happen today. I would think this tractor is going to go for a lot of money, but so far, right now, it's sitting at about $2,000. This is going to be a great deal for someone.
Yeah, we're at $3,000 right now on this tractor as she's rolling closer to the door. And that one's going to sell for $3,000.
And bringing us up to the next tractor in this collection, which is a 1956 John Deere 720.
And of course, right here, this is the bigger tractor of the three, or the biggest of the three in the row crop version. This is a 720 gas. Has fenders, power steering, always run on high octane fuel with lead substitute and low Lucas oil treatment. So that also helps with the lubrication of the valves and the engine powertrain and everything. And pretty straight tractor, no real dents in the sheet metal. Looks like a little bit older restoration. But like I said, the gentleman, I had a pretty good conversation with him, and he said he has been using these tractors, and really there's no problems with them. They run good. So. Looks like he's also got a book that's going with this, what Big Paul's holding up there. $3,000 bid right now on this thing. That one's going to sell at $3,000 on the telephone.
Well, that's all the time we have on today's show. And I want to thank everyone in Walworth, Wisconsin for making this show what it was. Max, have you had fun?
Yeah, been a great time up here working with you, Mike, and, of course, the rest of the Mecum crew. So.
Of course, you've been watching Mecum's Gone Farmin', Wisconsin. I'm your host, Mike Holland, along with Max Wilson. And we want to thank everyone for watching us on RFD-TV.